Hi everyone, and welcome to tutorial number 1 of the Algorithms in Python series. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning about the bubble sort algorithm. You use the bubble sort algorithm when you have a list, let's say 5, 3, 2, 6. I'll just write that down really quick. List is equal to 4, let's make that 5, 3, 2, 6. And let's say you want to put all these numbers in order. So let's say you want to make this list is equal to 2, 3, 5, 6 instead of 5, 3, 2, 6. To do this, we would use the bubble sort algorithm. So again, bubble sort algorithm is used for ordering lists from least to greatest or greatest to least. So let's jump right into the bubble sort algorithm. So the first thing that we're going to be doing in the algorithm program is creating a function. And as you know, function starts with def, or definition. And we're going to name this function bubble sort. In parentheses, you have to type in the input, which is going to be a list. Don't forget the colon, and we're ready to start the programming. So in this function, we're going to be using a nested loops. If you don't know what nested loops are, check out one of my previous videos on nested loops in Python. Nested loops are when you have a loop inside a loop. So the outer loop, we're going to be using the variable I. For I in range of 0, length of the list, and again this list comes from the input list, minus 1. So what this is saying, and end it with a colon. So what this is saying is for I in range 0, and length of list basically means the number of elements in the list. So let's say your list has 5 elements. So length of list minus 1 is basically another way of saying those 5 elements of your list minus 1. So either way, both of those lines of code will be equal to 4. But in this case, we don't know how many elements are going to be in the list, so we just have list. So again, for I in range 0, length of list is the number of elements in the list minus 1. So 0 and the number of elements in the list minus 1. So let's go take a look at the inner loop. In this loop, we're going to be using a variable called j. For j in range 0, length of list, again the number of elements in the list, minus 1 minus I. So don't forget the minus I. Again, we end this in a colon. So we have our nested loops. Now what we need to do is check if we have any of the elements of the list that are greater than the other elements but are earlier on in the list. So if we have a larger element of a list earlier on in the list, then we need to switch. So we do that by if list j, and these square brackets indicate the index of the list. If list j is greater than list j plus 1. So what this is saying is if any of the numbers in the list that come before another number in the list is smaller than that number, then you want to switch. So I'm just going to do a quick example just so you get it more thoroughly. I'm going to comment this line out. If you have a list 5, 3, 4, and as you can see, a number that is earlier on in the list, 5, is greater than 3, so we will need to switch these two. So we do that by, first of all, using the if statement to make sure that the number is less than another number that is before it in the list. So we use the if statement, and if it is correct, if this is the case, then we want to switch, and we do that by typing in list j is equal to list j plus 1. And then we want to switch list j plus 1. List j plus 1 is equal to list j. As you can see, we have a problem here, because once you assign list j plus 1 to the value list, then on this line of code, you're assigning the variable list j to list j plus 1. So you're going to end up with two of the same numbers, and you don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called switch variable, and we're just going to set this to list j. And on your third line of the if statement, when you're assigning list j to list j plus 1, instead of typing in list j, just type in switch variable. And we end off our program with the return statement. We want to return the list. So we try this out. We run it, and we need to call the bubble sort function. Whoops. So the first thing that we were going to need to do is create a list. And we're just going to create a quick list in the Python shell. List is equal to 3, 1, 2. So we want this to be 1, 2, 3. So we call the bubble sort function on list, and look at what we get, 1, 2, and 3. So that is how you use the bubble sort function, and I'm just going to add a few more lines of code to this list. We're going to create the variable list we're going to create the list in the program instead of in the Python shell. We're going to set list to be equal to 5, 2, 4, 3, and 1. And we're going to print out list. Then we wanna call the bubble sort function on our list, and we do that by typing in the function, in this case bubble sort, and in parentheses you type in the name of your list, in this case list. So bubble sort list and print out list again. So what this does is you basically see the difference between these two lists. First, you're printing out this list. You're printing out the list before it is ordered from least to greatest, and then after you call the function on it, after it is ordered from least to greatest, then you print it out again. So you get the same list except ordered from least to greatest. So if you program this, then you basically get to see the difference. As you can see, we have our original list and we have the modified list. So that is how you use the bubble sort algorithm in Python. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a lot about the bubble sort algorithm. If you enjoyed the video and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back soon with my next algorithm in Python video very soon.